Hello, everybody, and welcome to our episode of Yoga Chats with myself, your host, Jessie Amatrado, and my co-host,
CeeCee Detroit. Hi, everyone.
And we are so blessed to be joined today by a very, very, very special guest. I think I say that every episode, but everyone is so important to me that comes on and has had such an impact in my life. And this woman is for sure on the foundations of an impact in my life, and I'm sure I can speak for you, CeeCee, when I say,
absolutely,
your life as well. This is Veronica Parker. And for those of you guys who know me and who have taken trainings with me before, this is always the woman I refer to as V. I have met a lot of different teachers in my life, and Veronica has been a very crucial, important person in my life to be able to kind of steer me in the directions when myself and Chrissy, when we kind of needed that steering. She has a very diverse background in all things. I always say my energetic teacher. I don't know if you like that, but I kind of say that because I'm like, it kind of encompasses everything. And then other times I go my unseen. I'm like, oh, I'll just call her the unseen teacher. But like I said, she has a very diverse background. If you guys are new to yoga or you're just kind of dipping in your toe of the water of yoga, we brought her on today again because she is just such a pivotal person that has so much knowledge on so many different areas that lead to a yogic lifestyle and or a yogic practice on and off the mat. So thank you so much for joining us today, Veronica.
Thank you so much for having me. I am Jess's imaginary friend, and I'm really grateful to be here. Thank you.
Could you tell everybody, like in your point of view, what you do? I don't think I've ever actually heard you say it, even though I catch everything.
Yes. So there's a lot of things that I am and that I do. Essentially, when Jess says, it's a woman that has a lot of knowledge, basically translated into someone that's completely addicted to training in different modalities all the time. That is me. And so I've pretty much spent the past 20 plus years in my life doing all kinds of different trainings. And I work directly with people one-on-one, in person and online, and also with groups and with corporations as well, bringing wellness, health, well-being, and more consciousness for them and for their lives. And the way that we do it is using a variety of different trainings and tools, including energy healing, as well as access consciousness, yoga, meditation, breathing, and whatever really the universe guides us to do in the moment when we are communing and connecting.
I love it. I love it. I love everything about that, all of those words.
Which is why we are completely addicted and love you.
Yes, very true.
For all of those reasons.
Very, 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 very true. So Chrissy and I, we actually just said that we're sure that we're going to be on our show or on our chat numerous times because of the wealth of knowledge that she provides to all of us and the guidance that she provides to all of us. But today when we were talking about the area of expertise that we would like to hear from you from it, we were discussed specifically talking about access consciousness because I know it has been such a big thing in my life when I found it. And then I know I was 100% sold, not when I saw results, but I was 100% sold when I saw Chrissy go through the results or the tools and use the tools in her life. And what to you is access?
That's a great question. And basically access consciousness is a set of pragmatic tools that include all kinds of classes and books and trainings to really give you access to more of you, to help you remove all the points of view, all the sort of like programs, constructs that you might have created knowingly or unknowingly in your life that are sort of keeping you from truly, truly, truly knowing the awesomeness, the magnificence, and the miraculousness that is who you really be. That is really access consciousness.
Now, if we could have just recorded that on my phone, so every time someone says it, I just play what V says.
I know, and it's like, you know, that is just like what came, you know, you asked me the question, and actually asking a question, it's an awesome tool to use, because it literally brings you more awareness. And that is one of like the most foundational tools that we use in access consciousness. I'm sure if you asked me tomorrow what access consciousness is, my awareness would have been different, you know, because it really changes all the time. For me, you know, I've already sort of came out of the closet in the beginning of the show, told you that I'm totally addicted to trainings, and I've been doing it, you know, for over 20 years of my life. And access consciousness came into my life just a year and a half ago, simply because I was in a place in my life where I felt super stuck, and none of my previous tools were working to get me out of that stuckness. And so I was listening to the Access Consciousness website, not website, but podcast, not really even knowing what it was or what I was listening to. And they were using a lot of the tools on their shows. And I noticed I would feel a lot lighter every time I heard them use them. And so I was like, wow, this is like really cool. And then they would have commercials in between the show, and they'd be advertising access bars as a training. And I was like, wow, you know what? I haven't done a training in like 3.5 years. What would it take for me to join a training? So I found a teacher up in North Jersey, and in January of 2019, I did my first access consciousness training, and it totally changed my life.
I mean, I love it. When I describe it, because I use it very much in the teacher trainings that we do as part of their meditations, or just as giving them other tools to be able to work themselves through, you know, whatever they're trying to work through. And I don't even sometimes really know that they know they're doing access and using the tools the way that they're using it. But I always describe it, and one of the reasons why it resonates with me so well is because in a yoga lifestyle, I feel like they tell us how we should act, and they give us these guidelines of what it means to live in a yogic lifestyle. But I had a lot of disconnect for a lot of years on the how to do it. I didn't understand the how. I just saw it was supposed to be this way, but yet my perception of everything in awareness was this way. And how do I get the two to meet in the middle while living and being true to myself and not judging myself every moment that I didn't get to this? So I bring it into the yoga world for teachers, practitioners, whatever, as like the how to, the how to mimic this, because it does very much mirror, or in my point of view, mirror or mimic a yogic lifestyle. And so the tools that, you know, we talk about, and a lot of what it means to me is the language that we use, and, you know, including our words, and then living in the question, do we see ourselves as having choice in situations and judgments? So, and I think it's awareness of judgments against ourselves, and then awareness of judgments that we have towards others, because then we're finding that a lot of everything that we do and say and speak is a judgment based on a belief or something that was given to us by others. So I think it weaves very well into yogic concepts and yogic lifestyle, and even meditation when we talk about the clearing statements and how often, the clearing statements should be used, and what's in our, again, I know I say it a lot, but our toolbox to be able to have these things help us just be aware. Like, it doesn't give us the answers, but it draws an awareness to it.
Yeah, definitely. One of the taglines in Access is actually, it says, empowering you to know what you know. So it's not about like telling you who to be or what to act like, which a lot of other like modalities, even a lot of like yoga, a lot of like what's sort of like disguised as like yoga and spirituality is really like telling you what is right and what is wrong. Right. So it's really showing you what you truly know, what you're truly aware of, empowering you to know that beyond the rightness and the wrongness, beyond the judgments, and a lot of us, we stick ourselves with our judgments, and we're not even realizing or being aware that we're doing that.
Yeah, I always try to say to myself when something's happening or I'm judging, I'm like, says who? when I find myself in a loop in my head of this or this or this or this, and I'm like, it says who's making up these rules for myself but me. And I think that in a yogic lifestyle or even a spiritual lifestyle, I think it's an important awareness to begin to have, is that there is no right or wrong, and that everything kind of just is what it is. And I think that we get very caught up in our dogmaticness of it has to be, this way because this is what it says. But yet there is no real right or wrong. And especially with what we're going through now with people being isolated, or on the flip side, still having to be out there on the front lines and work in front of everything. So there's fear in so many different places right now, that the concept of choice, I think, is important, yet can be tricky for people to work themselves through.
Yeah, definitely. Absolutely. And, one of the tools that I absolutely love from Access Consciousness is becoming aware of what is true for you. So anything that makes you feel light and expansive is true for you, even if it's not true for all your other yoga teachers, all your other yogis, anyone else that you might have practiced or studied with. And anything that makes you feel heavy or constricted, it's a lie. And I really believe, and I know that now more than ever, it's a magnificent time to be utilizing this tool so that you can be aware of what is true for you. If you're, we're in the midst of this pandemic, and let's say you have to go to a grocery store and get stuff because you're running low on supplies. Okay, use your awareness, use what is true and light for you, and start asking questions as to, okay, what are the places that are going to have the supplies that you're requiring right now? What are the places and spaces where you're not going to be exposed to maybe so many people or other people that might be infected with the virus? It's like, start asking your own questions and become aware of what is true for you. And also when it comes to, if you're still, watching the news or listening to what's out there, not everything is true. So it is like prime time to be like, okay, is this light or heavy? Is it true for me?
Yeah, I think there's a big difference between being informed and then like watching the news.
Totally.
Yeah. So, for me, I would really love if you could touch on, I know there's a lot of people out there that share the same kind of, I don't want to say issue, but maybe share the same idea of meditation that I felt when I first started trying to figure out meditation and stuff like that. I wasn't always a fan of it. So once Access was brought into my life, and I started doing these little exercises too that they give us even with an audio loop or just verbiage of saying things over and over again, kind of give everybody an explanation about maybe how that can start to give them the open-mindedness to maybe start with something like Access if maybe meditation's not necessarily their speed, because we have this time on our hands, and maybe gives people an idea of this being a different avenue.
Definitely. Yeah, I think, well, you know what? How about I can guide your listeners on like less than a minute, you know, sort of like meditation where we just literally expand ourselves and we can access a different place without having to sit down in meditation for like 30 minutes or an hour. Would that be a contribution for you and your listeners?
Absolutely.
Okay, awesome. So, well, I'm pretty sure you're not going to be driving anywhere, but if you are, please pull over. If you're operating any heavy machineries, please pull over and make yourself super comfy. You can sit down or you can lay down. And then just close your eyes. Take a deep breath in right now and ask that energetic essence within you, that is your infinite being, to expand in every direction all at once, in front and behind you, to the left and to the right, above and below you. Expand in every direction all at once. Allow your infinite being to go 100 miles out in every direction. And as you exhale your breath, simply ask all your walls and barriers to go down, down, down. And there's nothing to know or nothing to do. Simply ask all those walls and barriers to go down. All the walls and barriers that you have erected around you, around this lifetime or any other lifetime, around this dimension or any other dimension, around this universe or any other universe, and all the walls and barriers that are actually your thoughts and thinking. Let it just dissolve, let them all just go down, and then just ask your infinite being to expand even more. Let it go 1,000 miles in every direction. Give yourself permission to become fully aware of all the molecules in your body and all the spaces between the molecules, and yet move beyond those boundaries, beyond those limitations, and let your infinite being simply touch every single corner of the world. Let your infinite being become truly one in communion with all the bodies of water, with the earth that is so wise, caring, nourishing, and giving right now. Let your infinite being expand. Continue to bring your walls and barriers down. And then when you're able and ready, simply open up your eyes and become fully aware once again of this place right here and now. So you can open up your eyes, become aware of your body, and yet choose to become or to continue to be fully expanded. And what would it take for you to become this expansion that is who you truly be as the infinite being that you are, whenever you choose it, with total ease?
Total ease. Can I just put you in my pocket and carry you around all day?
Sure.
And then just be like, oh, there's Veronica right there. That's what I need.
And that, everyone listening, is the reason why we love and honor what Veronica does, because even that short little bit that you got from her, you can hear how much she truly believes and loves what she talks about and does each and every day.
And not only that, I think it's very important. A lot of people are talking about, meditation and for some people, like Chrissy said, it doesn't come naturally. Or I know the other day I was being interviewed for somewhere and she was like, I know I need it, but it's actually stresses me out more to think I now have to do this thing and be good at it. And she was getting a little overwhelmed at the concept of just having to sit and do this. So I think it's important for people to understand that there's not really an achievable state, or it's not about achieving a state. We are already that state. It's just now we can use these tools in different ways to be able to help us just disconnect for a few moments. And that doesn't mean you have to sit and clear your mind, which is fine. When people can do that, I 100% honor that. And I think it's a fantastic thing. But I know for myself, it is much easier for me to disconnect for a moment when I have someone like Veronica who's guiding it, or I have, different resources that I can go to be able to tap into these things. So there's not so much pressure on myself of now I got to go and be perfect and sit and meditate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like that you even use that phrase, Jess, because that's something that I use too. Talking about the interview, I'm not good at it.
Yeah.
That was a big thing that I used to say, oh yeah, I don't do it because I'm not good at that. And that's what's the beauty is. Then I thank Veronica too for bringing this into, not just my life, but our lives, is that I'm judging that I have to be right or wrong or good or bad. And that really no longer really occurs to me when I do something like this. I just be.
Yeah. I know for myself, that definitely comes from, the Bikram training, he was very much like, you Westerners suck at meditation. You can't do it. And it's really, it's not something for you. Like, so it was from my early on ingrained into me that it was, you just move your body because you're from the West and you suck at this. So really when in reality, well, for me, in my reality, it's just, I don't really have to be good at it. I can just plug in some music, or I can just listen to somebody else's words, or we can just talk through something and then it achieves the same results. Do you find, V, that people are it's hard for people to get over that hurdle? Or do you deal, or is your experience more with people who are like open and ready and this is what they're looking for?
I think it's a little bit of both, obviously I also have the Kundalini background, where a lot of the practitioners are used to sitting down, for 60 minutes, 90 minutes, like 120 minutes, like, because we've been trained to sit down and practice meditation in that manner. And then there are other people that, they can literally sit in meditation. So I think, like, once again, kind of like how we started in the beginning, it's not so important the how. Every time we go into the how, we literally, like, I don't know if I can curse here, so I'm not going to curse. We totally mess ourselves up, you know?
And so, I put the explicit button on our podcast.
So what if we didn't have to mess ourselves up by asking how, but and instead we can simply, just like CeeCee was saying, like, we can simply be it. You're that part of you that is infinite, that is who you truly be, can already be expanded, can already be expansive. So when we choose to connect with it, to commune with it, as Jess was saying, disconnecting from everything and everyone else, we can just have all of the capacities that infinite being already has, and all the awareness and all the knowing, if we're willing to receive it and we're willing to access it.
So I have a question for you. In our lineage, and I would love to have your point of view on this with all of your various backgrounds, especially with the Kundalini, but in our lineage, we talk very much, and when people talk about different types of meditations, in our lineage, we talk very much about a concentration and the difference between a concentration and a meditation. so that a concentration would be something that we're focusing intently on, like maybe that journey we just took, or, you know, the light of a candle, or, you know, we're focusing our point somewhere. But then the difference between a meditation is that in a meditation, you're connecting to some source. Do you believe in a separation of the two, or do you think that, I mean, for me, both results are the same in the brain. Mm-hmm. So it's just for me a choice of whether or not I want to be in a God place today, or if and I guess it all comes down to being in a God place, you know, but some people are more linear, I think, in their thoughts of points of view.
Yeah. So in Kundalini, you know, we don't really have that delineation between the two. You know, and since we're kind of like in the middle of Access, I'm going to ask you a question that would be what Access would ask you. And that is, what would it take for you and for your listeners to recognize yourselves or to acknowledge yourself as the source of all possibilities?
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, that's interesting.
Because what I've noticed is a lot of times where we go into the meditation, doing it right or doing it wrong, or doing it this way or doing the other way, and connecting, you know, with something greater, we tend to make that connection with this like God, universe, source outside of ourselves. And we kind of forget that it's who we truly be also. That is not something that is separate from us. And I think that is one of the points that it became really clear for me through Access Consciousness, in addition to all the other trainings and everything else. You know, if there were no definitions, if there were no naming for meditations, for lineages, for ways to do this and that, like, what if we could just be like completely communing and acknowledging that we are all that? And that we didn't have to go outside of ourselves to find it, you know. So whatever it is that you are, you know, quote unquote, looking for in your life, whatever it is that you are searching for, whatever it is that you are asking for, what if you didn't have to go outside of you in order to find it or to receive it?
I think that's I think that bigger picture, or even more important than, you know, communicating with people to find meditation during these times, is that the meditation is the tool for that. We don't need anything. That's the reason why all of this was created for so many, you know, been used for so many hundreds of years, however many, you know, history going back. And I think it's just the concept that we have all the tools and everything that we need within us, but we seem to always be searching on the outside, which is part of being human. But, you know, if we can communicate to people, is that it's already there.
Totally.
You know.
Yeah, so V, real quick, because I know we're running really close on time. Mm-hmm. You are an entrepreneur, you're a mom, a wife. So give a really quick overview on how easy it is to just allow Access to kind of be part of all of those things in your life. I mean, I know how I've started expanding and using my tools, and my kids think I'm crazy anyway, so I just try everything now because they already think I'm nuts. But just explain to them a little bit on how we can kind of bring it into every little facet of our life.
Cool, because I thought you were going to ask me how easy it is to be all of those things. And I was going to be like, it's not really easy, especially not during these times where we're all stuck with all our peeps under one roof. So it's not easy. However, you can ask for ease. You know, the mantra of Access Consciousness is all of life comes to me or comes to us with ease, joy, and glory. So even when you're going through difficulties, even when you're like, oh my God, I literally want to like kill everyone that I'm, you know, in sparkly isolation with, that everyone I'm stuck with, you know, you can definitely ask for ease. And just like that, you know, it's one of the ways you can use the mantra, you can ask questions, you can drive your kids and your significant others crazy by saying, how does it get any better than this? At the turn of every word or every question, to the point that they're like, Mom, can you please stop saying that? Yeah, I pretty much, but you know, my kids already know I'm crazy. I've put them through the ringer with all my crazy stuff. And Access really provides us with awesome pragmatic tools that you can put into everyday use, whether it's the asking of a question, the affirmation, or, you know, doing the expansion exercise, using the clearance statements. I know we didn't get into that very much here today. There's just so many tools.
So yeah,
I just want to say I appreciate you even offering this, because it's changed me and shifted me as a person, I think a friend, a daughter, a mom, a teacher. Every little aspect of my life, I find somewhere to sneak it in, because I appreciate and enjoy how much I do love it, and can kind of plug it in everywhere. And it's simple enough to have the kids start to have a different perspective on things. It's a nice little introduction for even this younger generation to start having a different idea, really focusing on their own point of views. And is it a point of view? Is it true? It's a nice way to start having them think in a different way. So I thank you, and I appreciate you for even offering this to me.
Oh, you're so sweet. I thank you. This is a total love fest, because I love you girls so much.
It's total love fest.
You two have contributed so much to my life. Thank you.
We love you. This is just the first of many. But so for our last question, V, what are some tips or tools that you're you know, recommending to people to help them get through these times? Like, what really quickly, like, I know I'm like, move, exercise, breathe, meditate, find a sauna. Yeah, no.
Yes, definitely. Okay, so if you know Access bars, or if you have someone near you that you're kind of like stuck with that knows how to do Access bars, definitely get your bars run. That is life-changing. What else? Two things. Anytime your brain gets in the way, you know, you go into that thinking mode, you go into that crazy mode, you go into that mode where you're trying to think, analyze, or figure out what the heck is happening now, because we have no definition to what is happening now. We have no sort of like points of reference, because everything we're going through is so different. Or every time you're trying to figure out what the future is going to look like, what it's going to be, you're going into your brain, and your brain, you know, is not helping you at all. So favorite phrase from Access Consciousness is, everything is the opposite as it appears to be. Nothing is the opposite as it appears to be. Everything is the opposite as it appears to be. Nothing is the opposite as it appears to be. Repeat it 5 to 10 times, and it'll totally like scramble with your brain, and it will help you open up a whole different space. And my third tool is, if you have the capacity to be out in nature, you know, I know some people do, other people don't. If you can touch a tree, if you can go barefoot on a little like land of grass, if you can even like just step outside your home, your apartment, your house, and be in the sun, breathe some fresh oxygen. And in that moment, do the expansion exercise we did in the beginning here, and just give yourself permission to connect and commune with the earth. The earth has so much wisdom, and ask the earth, how can you contribute to me, and how can I contribute to you? And just know that even when you can't maybe you're like by yourself and you don't have anyone that can hug you. You don't have anyone that can touch you. Or maybe, you know, we have to be 6 feet apart from those that we love. Or maybe we have a lot of people that are passing away and we can't be there, you know, when they're doing a funeral. We can't be with the loved ones to comfort us when we have loved ones that are passing away. Just connect with that beautiful energy that is the earth, and let the earth just nurture you. Let the earth be the wisdom and the comfort that you might be desiring and requiring right now.
Such great tools as always, and fantastic tips. And we thank you for your time and for, you know, coming on to the show and just sharing a little bit of not only access, but of all of your knowledge. I know we appreciate it very much.
Thank you so much for having me here. It's been awesome. Really, really awesome.
And we thank you so much to our listeners for either watching and or listening. We always appreciate your time as well and taking the time to be with us. Please make sure to either subscribe to the YouTube channel or to the podcast, because that is 100% the way to support us at this moment right now is your subscription, you're subscribing, and you're sharing, and that's what we've got. So thank you so much for joining us today. And we will.
Thank you so much, V.
Thank you so much.
Amazing. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. So grateful to be here.